Intention of this group is to work with policymakers to make the right decisions to support the experience of the fans of the eSports scene.
So, Mr. Guerrero, we had a lot of changes over time, and now you introduced us to the new franchising system here. Are you happy with the new system, and will there be a little changes? Like in China, we have 16 teams, here we only have 10 teams. And what are your general thoughts about the new system that you introduced?
Well, it's not a franchise, it's a long-term partnership that has some small differences, but of course it's a tournament with 10 teams. The most relevant impact is that we don't have relegation. That means better support for the teams to be sustainable, to prepare long-term plans with their sponsors, and we think this is helping a lot the ecosystem in terms of sustainability, but also on the competitive scene also is helping to work with a long-term mindset, with the talent and with the team, and not with the urgency that we need to win or not being relegated, because then we are going to lose the sponsors and we are not going to compete at a high level. So this is helping the teams. That's the main change from last year.
And did you get already feedback from the players or from the organizations, and what do they say about this new system?
Yeah, well, they're very happy. The 10 teams are very invested in, they invest a lot of money, time, effort. Yeah. They were competing to join. We have more than 10 applications, of course, and we were forced to choose. That was not easy because there were very, very good organizations that were not able to join us because we had that limit. And we are working together to develop let's say the same thing. Now is our own project. It's not a relationship from tournament organizer and team. Yeah. We are all together in the same project, and the feedback is very, very good for that.
Is there a possibility to open maybe not only to invite 10 teams, but I think that you did the system for 10 teams especially, but for example, can we expect maybe next season to have like 15 teams or 16 teams, or what the plans are?
We don't have short-term plans for that. One of the things of sustainability is about not changing everything every year, yeah. So you need some stability for that plans. We don't discard in the future that this can be changed, but it's not right now on the agenda.
Cool. So we have also a lot of changes in the format of the regular season and for the playoffs. We had like a lot of different systems. Is this the system that we are running now, or will there also be next season maybe another system for the season and for the playoffs?
All the feedback we have and the numbers we have says that it was a good idea to change the system, in particular for today. For Saturday, the game is much more relevant. The audience is much more interested in terms of ticketing, but also on viewership. It's instead of giving this third, fourth position that nobody was interested in. It's not a League of Legends thing that happened on the World Cup of football or an Olympics. When you are not watching the final, it's kind of hard to be hyped with that. Yeah. And this new format that makes very relevant the game of the Saturday is working very well, so for sure we're going to keep this. Cool. Okay.
So the last question is, in Germany we have like now a really big problem with the Olympic Committee saying that esports is no sport at all. I don't know if you heard of this, but you as Riot or League of Legends, when we talk about esports, we will always have like a game in our minds. For example, when I talk about esports, it's always League of Legends. Do you feel responsible for the name or for the brand esports, for the whole brand? And do you connect maybe with other games, for example, like CSGO, the esports managing of there, and talking with them? Because in Germany the situation is really critical at the moment, where the government says that esports is no sport at all and it's just a waste of time. Do you connect maybe together?
Well, I would say I wouldn't use critical or big problem. Come on. Well, this is a new thing. Mm-hmm. As a new thing, we need time for people to understand what it is. Also for us to understand where we are, which are which is the right ecosystem, which are the right partners, which is our real influence, which is our positioning. I would say that the vision we have is not about trying to be recognized as sport or try to compete for the sports. We are competing for the hours of our players. They decide to watch football or Netflix or play League of Legends or watch League of Legends. So the component of entertainment is into our DNA. Mm-hmm. This debate about esports, sport, the naming, I would say we have talented people that do things that not everybody can do, that are pro players. They are training, they're taking care of his body, his mind. They are developing their skills. They are focused in the game. You can discover people that genetically is better equipped than others. That to me, I discovered that in football. I was a football player. I was growing. Since the moment you discover that everybody around is doing things much better than you, and probably even if you train 24/7, you cannot match these skills, because this is something these talented people has. I discovered that also in gaming, and when you see that these pro players, and even not pro players, some friend that, wow, what are you doing? So this emotion is the same emotion in one thing, in one sport, and what we are doing. So. And about the regional, the government thing, etc.
Olympic Committee.
Well, the Olympic Committee is one thing, and a very prestigious and incredible organization. So even our president Niccolo Loran has been in open conversations with them in the past in some event, and I think we are learning from each other, and let's see what's going to happen. We are not competing. There are two things, and we need to discover if we need to do something together or not. Maybe it can happen, maybe not. We are not worried about that.
But there's no really like contact like with other esports titles, because this statement of them is like for example, a 30-year-old man says, okay, this is no sport, this is not serious, but it is actually, this is what you just told us with the players, that they're really investing the time and it's about entertaining. Like this, are you maybe in contact with the other esports title?
Okay, this part of the question. First of all, of course, it's serious, and yeah. Recently, I joined it personally, but on behalf of Riot, ISFE eSports. ISFE, ISFE is the Association of Publishers in Europe, and they created a group, ISFE eSports. I'm co-chair with Mr. Olaf from EA, and the intention of this group is to work with policymakers to make the right decisions to support the experience of the fans of the esports scene. So we would like to protect the team, the players, and the ecosystem. We're just starting. We have no specific plan or message right now. That was announced last week. And the answer is yeah. The publishers want to take care, and we are. As a difference from traditional sports, the game is, we develop the game, and we have this AP, and we have a lot of influence and we cannot be disassociated of that. So we feel we are responsible also to be the right spokespersons with the policymakers to make the decisions, and this is a tool we're going to use in order to work in that direction, just to align, to discover opportunities, and protect the experience of the players and the people involved on esports.
It's like, I get goosebumps when I hear something. It's really cool that you guys sit together and they're like discussing with the policy and the stuff. It's really nice. It's a really big step forward, and it shows that esports is like something more. Like you guys sit together.
It's happening in the past. Yeah. Now, let's say with this tool, we try to do it better and more coordinated and have one voice, etc. But yeah, it's something that should happen, and the interest of the, let's say, governments or politics to understand and help. For example, we would like to have more, let's say, opportunities to manage visas, because as a competitive system, we need to move players from one country to another very quickly, because you have, I don't know, the play-ins, and you don't know which players are going to move to the next country for the final. These kind of things that traditionally have some help on traditional sports. So these are the kind of things we can talk with this kind of governments or policymakers in order to help us to develop a better ecosystem.
Will there be now any problems when Germany says, okay, esports is no sport at all? Will you have, like, maybe not in Europe, for example, a Korean player wants to play in Berlin, where the studio is. Will there be any problems with this, or how is this then going?
We need to talk about that. We are in Europe. Most of the laws are common, but not all the European countries are in the EU. And some of them have a specific rules. So we need to let's try to look for the best framework and try to help. But yeah, there are a lot of things that you can do from a traditional sport point of view that we can't, and probably we need to work and ask for that, because it's going to help this industry that is quite popular, growing, and so it has changed a lot in the last 5 years.
All right, thank you a lot. This was for the interview. Thank you a lot, Mr. Guerrero. Thank you a lot. And ja, das war's auf jeden Fall.